Snow and Ice Management Association. I'm sitting at the 13th Annual Snow and Ice Symposium. I've got Carl Bohm, CSP, here with me. Carl,
Brian,
welcome.
Thank you.
And I've got Terry Swally, Certified Snow Professional. BSR Services is out of St. Louis, Missouri. They're going to talk with us for a few minutes. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you so much. I think we should just start. Give us a quick a breakdown of the history of your company, you know, the 2-minute speech about where you guys come from.
Sure, Brian. Terry and I, as Brian said, are out of St. Louis, Missouri. 26-year-old company founded in 1984. We do commercial snow and ice management for the St. Louis market in the St. Louis County and all commercial clients.
Oh, great. Awesome. And are you the owner of the company, Carl?
Yes.
Okay, good. And Terry, how long have you been with them?
I've been with Carl, this will be my 5th season with BSR Services.
St. Louis, that's an interesting snow market. It's a fringe, kind of a fringe market. How much snow do you annually get?
We get about 12, 13 inches.
Oh, I think last year we had a little over 14 inches.
Seriously?
Of snow.
That's even lower than I thought.
Yeah. It's a very chemically driven market. Snowfall isn't necessarily the indicator in the market as much as precipitation, because we may be out chemically treating when snowfall isn't necessarily in the forecast.
Okay. And in those type of markets, it seems like the challenge is, because you don't get a lot of snow, it's probably a hard sell in some ways, but the perception of the public and the people who are frequenting your commercial properties, when it snows, they want it gone, right? They don't like it. It's a big inconvenience for them.
You've got a very good point, especially here at Simi, here these other snow belt areas. And the St. Louis market is a very high maintenance market,
right.
Low tolerance market, and they don't get much, but when they do, as Terry was saying, with the sleet, freezing rain, the ground temperatures and so forth, there's just not much of a tolerance level there, so you really have to be proactive.
Right.
Where in some of the Northeast markets, they might allow a little bit more accumulation. We don't have that in St. Louis.
Sure. And because of the going right off what Carl said, because of the fluctuation in temperatures, there may not be the presence of snow where people would exercise more caution. And when you have a black ice refreeze or it's patchy, frozen areas,
right, and
you mix that with somebody thinking, well, it snowed 3 days ago, it's all melted off, so I'm going to wear my 5-inch heels to work.
Right.
You know, it presents some problems.
Sure.
And we pride ourselves with our commercial customers in being able to be the solution.
Sure.
For their commercial needs.
Allow the clients to sleep at night and rest assured that we're on the job.
Well, yeah, and that's probably another challenge. Now that you've firmly established yourselves, you're probably one of the bigger and better snow service companies in the area, I would assume.
Well, we always try to be the best.
Right.
We've got a little slogan around the office that every snowstorm's a Super Bowl for us, and you've got to win every Super Bowl, because you're really judged by the last service that you provide.
Sure.
There's not that many of them, so you can't drop the ball.
Right.
You've got to
miss one time, and
you've got to get into the end zone every time.
Okay, great. I guess the other challenge now that you've established yourself is, I mean, when you first started out, how many years ago?
26
years. Wow. In snow? All
1984,
in snow?
all in snow.
So when you started out, you know, you were probably taking on as much work as you could get. Now that you've established yourself, you know, what's your sales process like? How do you qualify your customers? Because I'm assuming now there's probably more demand for your service than maybe you have capacity for. I could be wrong.
Our business model is pretty simple. It's no big secret. Again, some 26 years ago, I was real happy to have this commercial account down off this highway and another one off another highway. We now have learned that you can't get everywhere. We can't get everywhere when there's snow and sleet, freezing rains, and highways are shut down. So we work in zones, which are areas, Brian.
Sure.
And we're right there concentrated in an area. And we're very upfront to the clients that if they're out of our service zone, we just as soon pass on taking on the work as to giving them anything less than the high expectations that we want to provide for them.
Right.
And what that allows us to do is not only provide that high service level, but the clients are very appreciative as well, because and what Carl always says, and he drills to myself and all of our staff, is we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver.
Right.
We tell them that, you're outside of one of our 17 zones of service, and we'd love, you're a great customer, we'd love to continue that relationship, but, if we can build enough synergy in there and have enough facilities to where we'd service that,
right,
then it's something we may consider. But we're not going to take the lone outlier just for the sake of
right,
of another dollar, because
growth,
it could tarnish.
Growth for growth's sake.
Right, and you could with one client and has one facility that's an outlier, you do bad at that one facility, and it could have a domino effect on 5, 10, 15 other facilities,
sure,
that they pull as a result of bad service at one.
Sure. So your strategy is to lock your zones in for a season. I mean, you establish that goal up front, and you go out and sell those zones and just try to add the work that is the best fit for you in those areas?
Correct. And using the word selling, we'll identify accounts or buildings or facilities and contact. Usually we'll have a relationship with those, but our biggest salespeople, to be honest with you, we don't have a sales force per se.
Okay.
Our biggest salespeople are our clients.
Really?
They're either themselves growing,
sure,
or through their associations and networking, when they get asked, our name is frequently brought up. So
okay,
we have another incentive to give them great service, because
right,
they're actually helping us
so
grow our company.
You want to secure those clients and grow together and get that portfolio of work where you get several items at once. That's great.
Sure.
I want to switch to operations. You talked about the freezing rain. Do you guys get a lot of the big ice storms? Did you get some of those that came through the last few seasons?
And we have in the past, that I remember very vividly. It was 3 or 4 seasons ago now, but it hit in November, and it was the largest ice storm that had come through ever. And the city was basically debilitated, shut down,
right,
power lines down.
And your customers are calling you still?
Sure, sure.
Even though everything else is shut down, right?
But it's not as much big ice storms that come through as it is either the freezing that will take place days after because of the fluctuating temperatures in the St. Louis market.
Sure.
The thawing and refreeze, thawing and refreeze.
That would be tough.
But it also is the components of sleet and freezing rain,
okay,
and which also will feed into our operational plan. If it's rain preceding snow, we're obviously not going to put a pre-application down.
right.
So it's the temperature and the type of precipitation greatly affects our plan, and we have to sit down and plan it before every single storm that we go into.
Right.
Terry hits on a good point on the planning and what he mentioned there, Brian, about not applying prior to a storming. We work very efficiently and effectively with our clients and their budgets and being fiscally responsible, and that reputation has preceded us also.
Gotcha.
Although we're not for the our client profile is a high level of service, a high LOS. They're not going to be ones that are going to allow an inch or two to be on the ground or the sidewalks.
Sure.
They still have to manage their portfolio fiscally and safely, and that's a balancing act that we do as a partner, as strategic partner with our snow removal client, with
right,
our property manager, our asset manager, our owner of our buildings. We got to work together,
right,
as a team, giving the best value,
right,
for the best cost.
So you want to plug in and almost be a part of their staff in a way, but you're the outsourced provider.
Absolutely.
It makes a lot of sense. That's a different, it seems really easy to say that, but that's a different paradigm than I think than the traditional contractor may look at it.
It's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot about trust, integrity, and the relationship with the client. Communication, we're huge on that. Terry
right,
does a phenomenal job on that with emails and letting them know what services we're going to provide, getting pushback from the client if they have any questions, providing them with appropriate and timely information so that when they do get the invoice, they're like, oh yeah, there's no surprises. We've been communicating to them the whole time through the process, right, and then we give them the backup on the invoice when they receive it.